An extremely goofy movie. That's right. We are talking about extremely goofy movie. If you didn't see last week, I reviewed a goofy movie, and the day before this video comes out, I posted my review of the new Goofy movie documentary. Now we're talking about an extremely goofy movie. This one I don't have the love for that I have for a goofy movie. Mainly because I don't have that nostalgia, I guess, of me watching that VHS tape till it wore out. I guess you could call it nostalgia, even though it wasn't like 20 years ago. It's probably about like 5 or 6 years ago. But it's getting to the point where it's starting to feel nostalgic to me, I guess, that time. Whereas rewatching that movie over and over again, especially... actually, that was about 10 years ago now, I guess. You know, I had a family member who's no longer with us. We used to watch that movie a lot and stuff. So anyways, this is a really good movie in terms of just being fun and entertaining, but it doesn't have that spice that a Goofy movie has. Mainly the thing about a Goofy movie is, yes, this is made by the same studio that made a Goofy movie, but the same studio that made a Goofy movie was not doing theatrical movies at this time. So a Goofy movie started out as a theatrical release, and it did really well on home video, so they made a sequel about a few years later. About 10 years later, I think. Was it 10 years later? Something like that. But they made a sequel because it did so well on home video. And that's kind of what Disney Toon Studios was kind of doing at the time. They were doing like Cinderella 2, Lion King 2, all that stuff. And so, you know, you do watch this movie, and it is a good follow-up, and it has the emotions. Like, Max and Goofy's relationship, about him missing him when he goes off to college, feels like a very natural continuation of that first movie. Their bond and relationship being the way it is really sweet. Right? But it definitely feels like a direct-to-video sequel with, like, the X Games being in there, and like some of the lame bully characters that aren't interesting, like, at all. But it definitely had those good moments that felt like a natural continuation, where like Goofy meets this woman by going to school with Max, but also has like generic sequel plot of going to college. So it's a mixed bag of a sequel. I don't think it holds up as much. You don't really hear people talk about this one like they talk about the first one, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's absolutely a very fun movie that I don't think is perfect. It is kind of generic, kind of forgettable, but the moments that work really work in this one. You know, it's just a fun movie. So I was all down for this one. It was a fun rewatch, right? Not a movie I'm gonna rewatch anytime soon, but I'm glad I've seen it more than once within my life. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's a fun movie. Also, I do want to say, it is kind of like, also, this one's not a musical like the first movie. So, that is kind of like a little bit of a turnoff too. Not because need to be a musical or anything, but it did feel like, oh, you know, they didn't even try to do songs for this one. But I guess, again, that was a theatrical division making songs. Imagine what they would have been if this was a musical. They would probably have not been good. So, and they didn't have Campbell, I'm sorry if I'm saying that wrong, doing songs either. So, you didn't have like a real money to put a real musician in. Yeah, that was an $18 million movie. That was like the budget, I think I've heard of that movie. The first Goofy movie. This is probably like way less than that. So, like, that's already a fraction of what Disney movies cost to make. This was probably even more of a fraction of that. Like, this is 3 times probably lower. So, let me know your thoughts. Like, share, and subscribe.